Aloha everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Hiram. I have a YouTube channel committed to skincare, but this video is going to be a little bit different because I'm starting a mental health series. This is the first video in the series and I'm so excited about it. This series is meant to inspire all of you who are watching to address any mental health concerns that you have. I'll be sharing a lot from my own personal journey through all my mental health struggles, the many. And it's my hope that anyone who watches it will be able to grow in empathy towards others, be able to understand the situation that they're in, or for anyone who is struggling with mental health at the moment, to be able to inspire you to get help or just to have someone else that you can relate to. This first video is going to be addressing my personal story of growing up gay. If you don't know, hi, I'm gay. And while that may not be a big shock for some people, I know it is for others. I just want to describe my story. If you are someone who is not supportive of gay people, I'm not telling you to get off my channel. I want you at least to watch to the end of this video so that you can hear my story and really try to understand where I'm coming from and my personal journey, because I think it's best that we share our stories with people who are different from us. Now, this video is going to be addressing some of my experiences within the Mormon church, and I understand that some Mormons may be watching this, and if you are, I just want you to set aside your own personal views and the church's views for right now and just put yourself in my shoes and in my experiences and what I have been going through, and try to understand and be empathetic. That's all I ask. Now, I know in a lot of my videos I'm like really fun personality, make a lot of jokes. This is going to be a little bit more of a serious video because unfortunately my personal story was something that was not easy or fun for me to go through, and it's going to be a little bit of a long video. So feel free to get a snack or something and let's get into it. So I was born in Paulden, Arizona. If you know where that is, kudos to you because it's out in the middle of nowhere. But it was a very small town in northern Arizona. I was born and raised there for the majority of my life. And I was also born into the Mormon church. My family was very, very religious. And it was always a part of who we are as we grew up. We were taught to view everything in our life, from decisions we made to outlooks and opinions, through the vision and the scope of the church. So because of that, the church was involved in literally every aspect of our life. This may not be normal to some people, but to me it was very normal. That was just how life was. And because of that, it kind of set me at odds with the church. In addition to the church, I was raised in a very small community, and as much as I do love small towns usually don't have people with a lot of differences. And so because of that, there are expectations and reputations set on everyone. Now, because of those two situations, from the very beginning of when I was little, I recognized that I was different from people around me. And that's why when people ask me when I knew I was gay, I tell them I knew when I was about 6 years old, 5 to 6 years old, because that's when I realized, wait a second, something's different about me. Why do I not feel the same as the rest of the people around me? I feel so different. And I think that's because from a young age, I was taught the importance of growing up in the church, getting married to my wife someday, going through the temple, living the rest of my life with my spouse, and doing the best I can in my life to one day be in heaven. And those were principles that I know were communicated to me from like the day I was born. And because of that, when I started to develop a feeling of self, I started to realize, wait a second, something is different about me. I don't feel the same, and why am I thinking differently? Why do I want something different out of life? And because of that, I learned very quickly how to fake who I was. And so I began faking. I began telling my parents everything that they wanted to hear. I remember when I was so little telling them I wanted to go on a mission, that I wanted to get married in the temple, that I wanted to live the rest of my life in the church, all these different things. I would tell them and I would see how happy it would make them, and because of that I felt more validated. I felt a sense of self-validation because someone else was seeing me better than I saw myself. So faking and pretending who I was very natural to me throughout my whole life that I lived at home, but it really began to be an issue once I got into middle school. That was the first time that I actually began to feel heavily attracted to guys around me. I started developing little crushes, I was physically attracted to them, I was sexually attracted to them, all that awesome normal stuff that comes with natural development. But unfortunately for me, because I wasn't in an environment where that was okay, I knew I had to do everything I could to hide that. So I began stuffing all those feelings that I felt, and I began separating myself into two different people. There was the Hiram that was the church-going Hiram. Now, at this time in my life, and through the majority of time that I was growing up, I was respected by everyone around me and my community and my church because of the things I did. I would study the scriptures so much. I would be like, and not to toot my own horn, because believe me, I feel like I am not tooting anything, but I was the most like attentive in classes. I always responded with the right answer. I sang hymns in front of large groups of people, and it would inspire them so much. I would give talks. Everyone in my family gave really good talks. It would inspire people to be more diligent and devoted to the church and its principles. And because of also the position that my family was in, we were always looked up to. And I can't tell you how many times that I would have parents come up to me and say, "Oh my goodness, we look up to you, Hiram, so much." Like, I always tell my kids to, look to you as an inspiration so they can be just like you. We love how devoted to the church you are. You're such an inspiration. You're going to make a great missionary, blah, 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 etc., etc. I can't tell you how damaging those things are to hear. Oh my goodness, so damaging, because it placed inside of me a sense of perfectionism, and I felt like I always had to do everything perfectly for everyone around me, because that was the only sense of self-validation that I could get. And because of that, there was this perfect Hiram who did everything right, who never made a bad decision, and I played this part really, really well to everyone, including the closest members of my family. But there was the other side of me too, which I considered the dark Hiram. This was the Hiram that knew he was gay, that I knew I was doing wrong things, that I wanted to do everything bad I could possibly do, that I never wanted to go to church again, that I wanted to do everything that they told us not to in the church. The one that was angry and hateful, so angry at everyone and everything. And that was my dark side. And so when I began to discover my sexuality forming, I just said, you know what, that's just my dark side. I'm gonna try to believe that that's not who I really am, and pushing it down and away and pretending it doesn't exist. But that's a very bad mental coping mechanism. And if you are doing that, please do not do that. Go get some help, because you'll see why. That's a terrible form of dealing with your life. Now, as I grew up, I continued to fake and fake. All the way up until I was in high school, when this emotional stuffing really began to take a toll on me. And because of that, I ended up going into an eating disorder, which I will get into within another video in this mental series. I'm really excited about sharing that story, but it was a very dark time, and I didn't really get the help I need. And luckily, the eating disorder didn't last too long, but I didn't learn not to emotionally stuff anymore, and I continued to fake, pretend, hide, and stuff all my feelings up until I left home. And it wasn't until I looked back that I realized how damaging my time in Arizona was to my mental health and who I was. I had no idea who I was as a person. I was a mess emotionally and mentally, and I could not make sense of anything, and I didn't know where I stood with myself, or with my family, with the church, anything. Luckily, I had the opportunity to come to Hawaii to go to school here, and I got on a plane by myself, came over here. I didn't know anyone. I had never been to Hawaii before, and I was so excited because it was an opportunity for me to just start over again, be able to figure out who I was without any community expectations or church expectations or anything like that, and just be able to move forward. But unfortunately, there were a couple things that prevented me from doing so. First off, I went to a private Christian university while I was here, and while I loved the programs that I was in, and I learned so much and met amazing people while I was there, unfortunately their policies were very synonymous with the church, and if you know the Mormon church well, they're not the most LGBT friendly. And so because of that, being gay was not okay on the campus, which immediately from the beginning made me feel secluded, made me feel different, and that I, instead of opening up to people and not hiding who I was, felt like I should just close in on myself. Second of all, there's this quote from the book Fault in Our Stars that I love, and it says, "Pain demands to be felt." And I didn't really understand what that quote meant until I came to Hawaii. And like I said before, I never realized how much emotional pain I had gone through growing up, but my strategy was to stuff it away because that was the best thing for me to do at that time. It was not safe for me to come to terms with my sexuality and who I was at that point in time of my life. So I stuffed it, but when I came to Hawaii, all of that pain that had built up over 19 years demanded to be felt. And I wish I could tell you that I dealt with it in a healthy way. I got a therapist, I started going to counseling, I resolved everything, it was all good, but unfortunately that's not what happened. Instead, I began to stuff my feelings more, not accept my sexuality, and began to go into the, honestly, worst time of my life, the time where I hated myself more than anything. This was an extremely self-destructive time, and it included a relapse, a heavy relapse of my eating disorder, as well as other issues that came along. And I'll be going through each of those in detail within my next videos that I'm excited about. But it was an extremely dark time of my life, and more than anything, I did not want to be gay. I knew that I would lose most of the people important in my life, anyone I had ever grown close to, because my associations up until that point had been through the church, and because I was at a private Christian university, it was a similar situation. And so, because of those reasons, I just could not come to terms with my sexuality, and it got so out of control with my self-destructiveness that I had to, at one point, go to counseling because I just realized I'm not okay. I am not in a good place. I need help before I do something that I can't reverse. And oh my goodness, I am so thankful I went to counseling because that changed my life. It got worse before it got better, but honestly, counseling was so needed. Fortunately, the school provided it for free, a service that I'm really, really thankful for because I know that it saved my life. And because of those counseling sessions that I went to over the course of the next year and a half, I think it was, I was able to get from a place where I was so self-destructive to where I am now, someone who is in such a better place emotionally and in terms of accepting my sexuality and everything. And there are a few huge ways that I grew. The first of all, obviously, accepting my homosexuality. That was a big step, and I understood that even if I'm sacrificing some dreams, it's better that I'm not lying to myself and that I am who I am and I accept myself for it than to chase after some dreams of living around the world while hiding everything about myself. Once again, I wanted to live two kinds of lives that wouldn't work together, and fortunately, I found a way where I could celebrate my sexuality without sacrificing my dreams or just changing the kind of dreams I had. At this point, and if you don't know me already, I am extremely accepting of my sexuality, and I love how much it has helped me grow in empathy for others, for minorities who have had to go through struggles similarly or way worse to my own. It has made me so much more loving towards people and has completely removed the hate out of my life. I used to be such a hateful person. I hated my family, I hated the church, I hated my community with such a, honestly, very scary and deep-rooted sense of disgust and anger. But because of counseling, I've been able to resolve those feelings. And another important lesson that I've learned is how to rid myself of toxic people in my life. I came to understand that there are certain people that I just do not want in my life because they are not willing to accept me for who I am, or they're not willing to push me to be better. Because of that, with the process of accepting my sexuality, I have gotten rid of a lot of people who were once in my life, or they have gotten rid of me. But either one, it has made me feel so much happier because I don't have negative influences constantly morphing the way that I think and see the world, and I only surround myself with positive people who push me to be better, and I love that. Along this process, I've learned to not really care what people think. That was such a controlling mindset in my life from before. Everything was controlled by what are people gonna think, what are they gonna do, how are they gonna react, and about pacifying literally everyone. It had gotten to such an extreme level to where I felt that everyone around me, even if they were strangers, I had a duty to pacify them and not make them be mad at me for being who I am. And I'm at a point now where I'm just like, oh, who gives a fuck? I'm gonna do what I want to do, and I'm going to do the best I can to help people around me and to make a positive difference in the world. And you do that by standing on your own, by being different, by not caring what other people think. That's such an important lesson that I've learned, and I'm so grateful for it. Now, obviously from hearing my story, you understand that I've changed a lot, and I do want to say a few things to clarify any misunderstandings and to avoid the hate comments as much as possible. I'm no longer a member of the church, and I'm pretty against a lot of what the church stands for because I believe it stands against certain groups of people. Overall, I am not the most supportive person when it comes to religions that justify the oppression or mistreatment of certain groups of people, but I also stand that people use religion to love more, and if you're one of those people, just keep going on. As long as you show love for other people and you're empathetic and you try your best to make a positive difference in this world, I 100% support you. However, I have no tolerance for people who use religion as a form of expression for their prejudices. And I don't want to convey a different message than what I'm trying to say in this video. This video is not meant to be anti-Mormon, anti-religion, anything like that. I'm not trying to spread hate. I'm only expressing my personal experiences and my personal opinions as well. And if you're someone who uses your religion, whether that be Mormonism or other religions, to spread love, I love you so much. You are awesome, and I 100% support you. But if you're using your religion as a method to fight against me or against people who are like me or other minorities, I do have a huge problem with that, and in no way do I support that or do I support you on my channel. Looking back, I can address all of the challenges that I went through to accept my homosexuality. It was not easy. It was extremely difficult. I lost so many people who were close to me, and I saw the worst of human actions. But it has made me into such a strong person. It has made me so empathetic and loving. I am at a point that I never thought I would be at. I never thought I'd be able to live in this wonderful place where people are so accepting, where I do not care if people know if I'm gay or not, and to where I don't have to have the church controlling every single kind of thought that I have in my mind. It's such a peaceful place to be in, and I feel so much better than I did before. Were the experiences that I went through really shitty? Yes. But do I regret it? Absolutely not. I don't regret anything because it has only made me into the person I am today. It's shown me who really cares and who loves me and who doesn't, and how I can best structure my life to make it as positive and as meaningful for myself and for others as much as possible. My only intent now is to live to help other people. I want to help inspire other people, help to improve their lives, and I do that every day as best as I can through my personal social interactions and through projects I work at, through businesses that I build, through doing this YouTube channel, hopefully to make you guys have a smile on your day and a little bit happier. Everything I do is to try to make the world a better place, and if I hadn't have accepted my sexuality, I would have never realized that to the extent that I do. Are people going to mistreat me and shut me out of their life because I'm gay? Absolutely, and that's just life. I hope it'll get better in the future, but that's how it is right now. And honestly, my mindset now is if someone doesn't like me because I'm gay, I really do not want them in my life anyway. That rhymed. Lastly, I just want to say, if you are gay and if you've been struggling to come out, or if you're struggling with your family or reconciling your feelings with a religion or your community, just remember, do what's most important for your own mental health and for what will make you happy. If you feel happiest accepting your sexuality and being who you are, please go with that. Please do not live to pacify other people. And I know it's scary. Believe me, I was so terrified of being authentic and sharing who I really was. But honestly, little by little, it gets easier and easier. And as you begin to open up to more and more people, you'll be surprised by how many supportive people you find. If you're not gay, I want to encourage you to show love to people you know who are gay. That doesn't matter if you're religious or not religious. The best thing that we can do is be there for each other. And a lot of gay people that I've personally known have had to go through an insane amount of trials of everyone in their life pushing them out, of them being disowned, awful, awful things. And the best thing that we can do is to be there for them. Know that we 100% support them and will stand by their side through the entire journey. I hope that by me sharing this story, it can encourage all of us to just spread love and be empathetic towards one another and do our best to make this world an inviting and welcoming place for people in the LGBTQIA+ community. I think it's such a wonderful movement. I'm so proud to be a part of the community that I am in, and I only hope that it will improve in the future for people like me. And just in general, I hope we can grow in love and empathy towards people who hate us, towards the people that we're trying not to hate, just towards anyone. All I want is for my story to be able to inspire you. So if it did, please let me know in the comment section below. I really want to hear your story, and I do my best to respond to every single comment that I can. If you are really struggling at this time, please reach out to me. I've included my Instagram handle right here so that you can send me a private message, and I want to do my best to be able to help you through the situation that you're in, because I understand how hard it can be to accept yourself and to accept the situation that you're in, but I want to help you get through it. So if you really are in a place where you're hurting and struggling, let me know. I got you. Speaking for myself, I know that having supportive friends means everything to me. And I hope that by you guys watching this video, you can understand how you can be a supportive friend for someone else who's going through this process. I am in such a better place than I was before. I'm so thankful that I'm gay. I'm thankful for all the awful, hard things that I've gone through, because it's made me into the person I am today. And I only hope to inspire people as I move forward with my life in the future. And I hope that you guys can each be a part of that journey. Whew, this was a long video and a very serious one at that. But thank you so much for watching. If you really did enjoy this video, please subscribe so that you can get notified as I release the rest of my videos within the mental health series. I'm so excited to share all of them with you. Please leave a comment below letting me know what you thought of this or my story, or just a supportive comment for someone else. I really want to be able to create my own personal community within my followers of people who are supportive towards each other and loving towards other people who are gay. For those who have stuck in my life throughout this entire process, I want to thank you so much. You're one of the few, but honestly, you've been amazing, and you're the reason that I'm still pushing forward today, so I want to thank you for that. You truly are my family. Ugh, it's so hard because there's so much I want to say. There's so much I want to tell everyone in the world out there, but I won't, because my video is going to be like 30 minutes long, and because I don't really feel like I need to say anymore. I feel like I've said enough. I've conveyed my point adequately, and anyone who will support me will continue to support me, and if they won't, they won't, and that's just life. If you are struggling with your own mental health, I've included sources below that will be able to help you find help no matter how much money you have or no matter what situation you're in. I really want you guys to be able to find help where you need it. And if you aren't struggling with mental health at the moment, please be there for other people who are. It means everything in the world to us. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I can't wait to see each of you in my next video in the mental health series. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.